My first book this week is Leaving Paradise, and this is by Simone Echolese. I'm not for sure of how you say her last name. And there's two books in this series. This is the first one, and this is about Caleb and Maggie and their next door neighbors. And Caleb actually has a twin, and his twin and Maggie are best friends. Well, he's at a party one night, and he's had too much to drink, and he gets in the car, and he accidentally runs over Maggie. And she almost dies, and it leaves her basically her one leg, she's crippled. So it's about how he gets sent to prison, or I guess it's juvenile detention for it, because he left the scene after he hit her. She and her mom can't believe this happened because they grew up together, and now she really hates him for what he's done to her because she was in a lot of pain. And now a lot of kids make fun of her. She used to be kind of popular, and she used to be a star tennis player. Well, that ship is sailed. So she's not going to be able to be a star tennis player anymore, and she was hoping to get a scholarship on tennis. So there's just a lot of things going on, and it takes off where Caleb is being released from the juvenile detention center. And he comes back home, and the way everyone treats him. His mom is really weird around him, so is his dad, and his sister especially. She has, now she dresses, really dark, and she doesn't talk to anybody, and Maggie's friendship is over, and he doesn't know what's going on with that. Well, he runs into Maggie, and they start actually...
Now, are they in high school?
They're in high school, yeah,
Okay.
like seniors.
Okay.
He runs into Maggie, and they actually start talking, and they end up getting, even though there was hard feelings at first, they strike up a friendship because even though he's the one who hurt her and she's the victim in it, they kind of can relate to each other because both of them are treated completely different than they were before the accident, and they did obviously go through this accident together in different ways. But they don't want anyone to know that they're friends because they know that people are going to be really freaked out by the fact that they're friends. Well, things start not adding up the more you read the book, as there's more that went on that night, and there's more to him being in the car and hitting her and leaving than what you think. There's other people involved, let's put it that way. I don't want to tell you what it is because that's kind of like the climax of what happens. This is a really good... It's not only a love story, I feel like there's a little bit of a mystery, there's a little bit of coming of age, there's kind of a lot of it involved, and I think she's an amazing writer. This is her first book that I've read, and I read the second one right after this, and I'll talk about it next
series?
week. It's just two books. There's this one, which is Leaving Paradise, and the second one is Return to Paradise, and I read them back to back because I had to find out what was going to happen. But I'll wait till next week to talk about the second one. And it's not a really big book, but I think it's a great style of writing. I really enjoyed this one.
Isn't she going to be at the conference we're going to?
Yes, she is going to be at a conference we're coming to. So yes, really enjoyed this one. And it kind of got me in the whole romance, kind of bad boy, good girl, or good girl, bad boy, however you want to do it sort of thing. So a couple others I thought I would recommend. Perfect Chemistry, which is also by the same author. It's checked out. This is also a series, I think there's Perfect Chemistry, and I can't remember what the next one is. And this is about Brittany, and they're in chemistry class, hence the name Perfect Chemistry. And I think it's Alex. Yeah, Alex is he's like a gang member, and they are set up to be partners for the year in this chemistry class. And she is not happy. He's not happy, but then his buddies are like, you know what, why don't you see if you can get Miss Prim and Proper, you can kind of get where I'm going. Well, as he gets to know her more and more, he starts falling for her, and then he's like, she finds out the real reason, and how do I handle this? I haven't read this one yet because it's always out. I mean, always out. But it looks like it would be really good too, and I thought it kind of went with it. But we do have it, and we have the second one. I think Chain Reaction, I think, is the second one, and we do have it as well. And then another one is,
so many books to read.
I know, is Dare You To, and this is by Katie McGarry, and we have this one as well, but checked out. And this is, I wouldn't say a series. I read another book that, how do I say it? Her characters kind of have spin-offs. The very first book was, I think, Push the Limits, and the girl in this one had like a minor part in the first book, but you would not have to read the books to know. You know what I'm trying to say?
Right.
It's like they take a character from the first book and then they tell that person's story. And this is about where, I'm trying to think what her name is. Beth. Beth has a really, really bad home life. Her mom is horrible to her, and her mom is a boyfriend's. And she doesn't want anyone to know, though, because she's afraid she'll end up in the foster system. So she kind of covers it up. Well, her uncle finds out and takes her away and puts her in a new school. Well, she's kind of a little rough around the edges, let's put it that way. She's kind of a tomboy. She kind of dresses dark. She's a skater girl. Well, this guy is like Mr. Popularity, Mr. Jock, and his friends dare him to get her to go out with him. And it's their story and their romance. I haven't read this one, but I loved the first one. Like I said, but you don't have to read one to read the other. There's like, I think 5 maybe that are just about a different character.
Wonder if they do one on him.
Well, since they're together, I would assume no.
No?
What they usually do is a person that's a side character.
Okay.
So like the first one, it was about Echo. Remember, I mean, you probably remember that name because remember you saying Echo.
Mm-hmm.
And it was about Echo, and I can't think of his name. Beth was his next door neighbor.
Okay.
And was kind of not in the foster system, but she came and stayed there at their house because of all the problems with her mom. And then the other one, I think, is about the first guy's foster brother, and I think it's called Crash Into You. So there's several in the series, but I just read the first one, but this one looks good. Once again, always out. That's why I haven't read it yet. A couple of the girls up though in Teen Space read it and said, oh, it's great, I loved it. So another good romance. And over to you then.
Okay, well, in the kids department, I remember having this book when my kids were little. It's a Fisher-Price book, and it's called Here Comes the School Bus. And as soon as I saw that we had it, I thought, oh, this would be a perfect book to do, keeping with the back-to-school theme. All of you my age, or maybe a little bit younger, will remember all these little characters. If you had the little house, if you had the little schoolhouse, if you had the farm. Anyway, my kids had this. And I had gotten this book for my kids because they were little, and I thought, well, if they ever, when they do get ready for school, I kind of want to start introducing school things like a school bus that are supposed to be scary for kids and stuff like that to get them used to it. And I thought with these familiar characters, it would make it better for them to, get accustomed to a school bus and all that kind of stuff. It's a very, very cute book, and that's what it talks about. It talks about how, obviously, they're getting on the school bus first time, and well, they do say though it's another school year, and you'll have to read it because there's a little bit of a surprise on there. Somebody gets on the bus that's not supposed to.
My kids didn't ride the bus, but they wanted to ride the
Well,
bus,
yeah, mine
believe it or
didn't
not.
either.
They wanted to, though. When they were little, they used to beg, why can't we ride the
I
school
know.
bus? And when there would be like a class
Right,
trip.
did you take them to school?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, and when there was a class trip and they got to ride the school bus when they were really little, that was a big deal to them. Yeah.
By the way, this is Here Comes the School Bus, and it's by, well, it's a Little People book, but it's written by Lori Reiser. And I mean, you can buy it at Target, I think Target.
Yeah, I've seen, you sometimes even the
Kmart,
grocery stores,
yes,
have
yes. And they usually, I think I picked it up. It was next to like the house or something when I went to go buy
that.
it.
Was it? Mm-hmm.
Something like that. The juvenile book that I read, well, I'm actually right in the middle of the series. It's a series. I think the first series consists of 5 books. This is the Spiderwick Chronicles by Tony Terlizzi and Holly Black. And what this book is about, the first book is called The Field Guide. And what it is that these kids, it's 2 twins, Jared and Simon, and their sister Mallory. And their parents have gotten a divorce. Well, the mother has really no place else to live, and she finds that her great aunt has gone into like a home. You don't know whether it's a home for the elderly or if it's a home for the elderly, but for crazy.
Yeah, it does.
Yeah,
Mm-hmm.
it doesn't really tell you, but the aunt is portrayed as being kind of crazy.
Right.
And it's because of what goes on in the house. The house is called the Spiderwick Manor, or the Spiderwick Estate. And the great aunt was the owner of it. And because of what happened in the house is why she's put into this home.
Right.
So the kids move in, and the first night, Jared really can't sleep because it's a new house and everything, and he hears scratching in the walls. And he's thinking, oh, it's a mouse. I'm going to kind of go look, Well, he stumbles upon this, like, secret room. And it's a library / the great aunt's husband's name was Arthur, and it was like his library slash study
I thought
slash.
it was her father.
No, it was her husband. Or is it her father?
It's her father.
I thought it was her husband.
I don't think so. I think it's her father.
You think?
I'm
Maybe.
pretty positive
I thought it was her husband.
that it was the
Because I thought they
father.
said great uncle. When they refer to him, they refer to him as great uncle.
Well, if
not-
that's their aunt, then he would be their great uncle.
But if it's the father of the aunt, it wouldn't be an uncle.
That would be their great uncle. If he had a son, that would have been their uncle. It goes uncle, great uncle, great great uncle.
But what do you call the father of the aunt? If that's their aunt, then the father wouldn't be an uncle.
Maybe you're
Anyway,
right. I don't know.
know.
I thought it was her dad, but maybe
His
I'm
name's
wrong.
Arthur.
His name's Arthur. We know that.
Arthur Spiderwick
Right.
is his name. Anyway, as the kid is stumbling around this room, just kind of looking at all the books and noticing how much dust is all over the whole room, which makes him realize that nobody's been in this room for a very, very long time. He goes to the desk and he, just as kids do when you see a bunch of dust on something, he writes on the desk. And he also sees some little footprints. And he's like, well, those aren't really look like they belong to a mouse.
Mm-hmm.
And he does find the nest in the wall. But he's looking at it, he thinks, this doesn't look like it belongs to a mouse, because he notices like furniture and like clothes and stuff in it. He's thinking, this doesn't look right. It's not a mouse. Well, unbeknownst to him, after he writes something on the desk and he walks away, something has written back to him. And he thinks, this definitely is not a mouse. And he, of course, calls his brothers and sisters. They go up and investigate, and what they find out opens up a whole new world to
Right.
them. And you'll have to read it. Like I said, I'm getting ready to start the 4th book.
It's good.
It's very good.
Did you see the movie?
No, I have not seen the movie.
Now, I keep thinking in the movie there's only one boy.
No, they're twins.
I know, but I think
Yeah.
but in the movie there might only be one boy.
Proves my point. That is exactly why I
keep
don't
thinking,
watch
I could
movies.
be wrong, but I
that-
thought there was just the sister and the brother. I don't remember there being two.
No, there's two.
And being twins.
Because it's kind of important to have the other brother, because the other brother, Jared's brother Simon, is the one that collects a bunch of animals.
So maybe I remember. It's been a long time since I've seen it. My kids were younger, so maybe there was two brothers in it. But for some reason, I kept thinking there was just one.
Because I don't know how they could have made it without the two brothers.
So maybe there is.
Because in the 2nd book, Simon is taken by the new world that they have discovered, and Jared has to fake being his twin to get him released. So I don't know how they could have done it without two.
Maybe I'm remembering wrong. It's been a long time ago, but I do remember the movie.
But yes, it's a very good series. And then they have another series after this called Beyond the Spiderwick
Oh,
Chronicles.
I didn't know that.
Yes. I think it has 3 books in it.
Okay. My next book is, I know this is
Oh,
kind of
sorry,
small.
and we do have this. It's in our juvenile department here at the library.
Do you have all of them or
Yes, and we have Beyond the Chronicles
as well?
as well.
And you have the field guide?
Yes, that's this one right here.
That's
This is the first
that's
one, the
first
field guide.
Okay.
Yes.
I think there's also a book on that like identifies different characters.
Yes, they have, just like some other books, like 39 Clues and stuff, they've made other books to describe what you find in some of the books. Like
Right.
the field guide is a guide that introduces them to some of the characters of the new world that
And
they
there's
have
a book
discovered.
they make like
And
that.
there is a
I thought
book
there was.
that's like the field guide that you can use
Yeah.
to like go on the adventure with them.
Right.
Yes.
Okay, this is my next book, and it's To All the Boys I've Loved Before by Jenny Han. I think you've read her Burn
by Burn.
series. This is a very unique idea for this book. I will say that. This is the story of Laura Jean, and there's 3 sisters. She has an older sister, I cannot remember her name. I'm not for sure her name, and then a younger sister named Kitty. And they call themselves the Song Sisters, and the reason why is their mom was Korean. She died when they were little, and her maiden name was Song, and she used to always say they were her song girls. So there's 3 of them. They're very, very close, and the oldest one, maybe Martha. It starts with an M. I know that. I can't think of what it was, though. She's going away to college, actually overseas. So now Laura Jean, who I think is 17, No, she's a junior. I remember them talking about her being a junior, so maybe 16, 17. She is going to be the one in charge, where her sister's always been the one that took care of everything. They lived with their dad and kind of helped him out, with 3 girls on his own. Well, her next door,
Did you say the mom died?
Yeah, the mom died.
Okay.
When they were, I don't know, I think she was like 8 and her older sister was like 10.
Okay.
Their next door neighbor is who dates her sister. Okay.
So it's a boy.
Yes.
Okay.
His name's Josh, and that's who dates Laura Jean's sister. But Laura Jean used to be in love with him herself. But she never told the sister.
Wait. I'm confused here. Wait a minute. The sister, which you think is Marla or whatever her name
I can't remember. Don't they
she's
tell
gone.
her name or?
So she's gone.
Yes.
And so this boy, this next door neighbor, dated the one that's gone?
Yeah, she broke up with him right before she left.
Okay.
And he had been super close with the whole family. All of them loved him. The dad, the younger sister, he came over and hung out all the time.
Okay.
And like I said, he started out as Laura Jean's friend first, but then he ended up dating her sister.
Okay.
And she never told anybody that she had had feelings for him.
Okay.
Well, every time that she's been in love with a boy, when she kind of like falls out of love with him, or when she realizes it's not going to go anywhere, she writes them a goodbye letter that she keeps in a hat box, and it's kind of like her closure. Well, somehow all those letters get mailed to all those boys. There's 5.
How does that happen?
Well, I can't tell you how that happens because that would ruin part of it. She kept them in a hat box. Somehow the hat box gets moved, and somebody mails all 5 of these letters. So now all of these boys who didn't know that she had feelings for them all know at the same time now that how she felt.
Awkward.
Awkward is right. But some of them now are interested. Because they're like, I never knew you liked me. If I had known that.
These are all in high school? They're all in high school together?
Yes.
Okay.
So this is about each of the 5 boys, how the letters, how they get sent to, how the reactions are, and all of the turmoil it causes her. Especially Josh, the next door neighbor who dated her sister. Now he knows how she felt about him all this time.
Wow.
Exactly. And she doesn't want her sister to find out. So one of the boys that she had sent a letter to, his name is Peter. She doesn't have feelings for him anymore, but he's like the most popular boy at the school and super good looking. Him and his girlfriend just broke up like a couple days before he gets this letter. Well, he gets the idea, let's make my ex-girlfriend jealous by pretending that we're together.
Oh, my.
And she goes along with it because she still has feelings that have now resurfaced for her next-door neighbor, Josh, her sister's ex-boyfriend. And she thinks that maybe if they plan they're in this relationship, Josh will realize he's always had feelings for her, and Peter's ex-girlfriend will come back to him. That is not what happens. Yeah, it's so twisted and goes back and forth.
Is it easy to keep it all separated?
It is. It sounds confusing, but it's not. It's written very well, and I found it very entertaining. I read it very fast to find out what was going to happen next. Only thing I'll say, and I don't mean, maybe this is just me, I felt the ending, I wanted more. I'll say that. Not saying it was a bad ending by any means. I just was like, I need more than that.
Maybe she's going to make another one.
I don't know. Maybe. But yeah, I wanted more. Where it left off, I was
by that ending, do you see where it could go to another book? Or does it
I think she just pretty much left it where you're supposed to imagine what happens next. You kind of
write your own ending.
Well, it leads you to what's going to happen, but she just doesn't have it happen.
I see.
Do you know what I'm trying to say?
Right.
That sort of book. I just wish it would have actually happened so that I could have read about it happening, not just assuming that it's going to happen.
Right.
But some people like it better that way.
Yeah, maybe.
And it was really good. So another romance, but a little bit of a different, scenario of all these letters being sent. And another couple ones that I thought of were Second Chance Summer. Yeah. And this is also about a girl who has 2 sisters. So that's kind of what it made me think of. And her name is Taylor. And there's been kind of a catastrophe within the family. And her dad takes them to...
Time out. this to all the boys I used to love or
I've
didn't
loved before, huh?
Do we have it?
Yes, we have it. It's checked out.
Okay.
It's one of our newer books.
Okay.
And we have this one too, but it's also checked out.
So who's it by?
This is by Morgan Matson. And I have not read this. I just kind of read the synopsis because it reminded me of this. So her dad decides to take them to their old lake house to try and get away from what has happened.
What's happened?
It doesn't tell you that until you've read the book, and I haven't read the book. So I just know it's a disaster and something bad happens, and he takes them to this lake house. Well, it kind of reminded me of that because she had a crush on a boy before when they went to the lake house, and he's there that summer too. And her old best friend is there that summer, and it's kind of like the three of them kind of pick back up, and things are different now, and how you deal with the changes and getting older. Yes, our lights keep flickering. You'll see Karen keep looking up because the lights are flickering. We might lose power. Yeah, see, we need to do scary stories again. I know.
It every time we do this.
Yeah, last time we had storms as well.
Yes.
That's Illinois for you.
Yes.
So anyway, I thought this one sounded good, and it's another romance, and we do have it. And then the next one is This Is What Happy Looks Like by Jennifer Smith. I like the premise of this. This is where this boy, he is a famous actor, and he accidentally...
Do we have this?
Yes, it's checked out again.
And who's it by?
I just said Jennifer Smith.
Oh, sorry.
It's okay. He's a famous actor, celebrity, and he accidentally sends an email to this girl talking about, is it his hamster? It's really, let's see, about his pet pig.
Is this friends? Are they friends?
No, they've never met before. He accidentally sends it to her. He gets the email, one letter mixed up, and it goes to her instead of who it was supposed to go to.
Oh, okay.
Well, she replies.
Who was it supposed to go to? A girlfriend? A friend?
I don't think it tells who it was supposed to go to. Her name's Ellie, and it goes to Ellie instead. Well, she responds, and they start going back and forth in emails. But they never tell, they don't meet or anything like that. Well, he gets the bright idea when he hears all about the town that she lives in. This would be great for the next movie I'm making. So he convinces the director of the next movie to make his next movie in her hometown.
Is he a kid? Is he a teen?
Teen, yeah.
Oh, okay.
Like 17.
Oh, and he makes movies. He doesn't
He
go to
doesn't make
school?
movies, he's an actor. He's a famous celebrity actor. His next movie that he's starring in, he gets the director. He says, this would be the perfect town. It sounds just like the town we're looking for. Plus, then he gets to meet her. But she didn't know he was a celebrity. And now here he is in her hometown, and they're trying to have, he wants to kind of meet her and have a relationship. And here she thought it was a regular guy, and it's this big celebrity she's been communicating with.
What, and she don't like it, or she...
Well, there's a lot of problems with that, yeah. I mean...
Have you read this?
I have not read this. I just kind of read about it, but I thought it looked good, and another romance.
Right.
So, but they all kind of have their own unique twists and storyline.
Well, doesn't every romance?
So, yeah. Those
what would romance be without a twist?
So...
Okay. Number one movie being rented right now is The Amazing Spider-Man 2. We do have this here at our library. I watched it, and as I'm watching it, I'm thinking, I have watched umpteen million thousand Spider-Man movies, and when they started talking about it, I'm like, first they introduced his girlfriend as Gwen, and I'm thinking, who is Gwen? I have never heard of a girlfriend named Gwen.
No, it's always Mary Jane.
It's always Mary Jane. And I'm thinking, what is going on? I'm thinking, you know what? I hate it when they take movies, common movies, and then they adapt it to whatever they want it to be.
Is he supposed to be younger in this?
No, he's still in college.
Huh.
Still has his friend Harry. You do meet a new villain called Electro. And come to find out, I did a little research because I wanted to find out where this Gwen came from. I was so stunned. I was just like, what's going on here? Come to find out, in the comic books, Gwen is mentioned. Gwen was killed by the Green Goblin. Then he started dating Mary Jane.
I didn't know that.
I did not know that either. So, they were authentic after all. So, I guess maybe, it pays to do a little research maybe before you watch a movie. I don't know. I'm not really into the Spider-Man comics. I'm not really a comic book person. But I did enjoy the very first movie. And I tell you what, it was a little hard for me to get used to somebody besides Tobey Maguire being Spider-Man. this kid, he's okay. I've never
What-
seen him
Andrew
before.
something.
I have no idea.
Isn't it Andrew? Does it say?
It probably says in the back here. I don't know.
Andrew Garfield. Yes.
Never heard of him.
And the girl who plays
Emma Stone is
their-
his girlfriend.
in real life.
Oh, really?
Yeah, they've been dating for ever since the first
She
Spider-Man
looks
came
a
out.
whole lot older than
Nope,
him.
she's not.
Oh my.
Yeah, and they've been dating for quite a while. You learned something else today.
Well, that, and I just thought, because she looks like this kid looks like he can't be older than maybe 22, 23. Emma Stone looks like she's in her 30s.
No, she's in her 20s.
Well, she looks a whole heck of a lot
No,
older
she's in
than
her
him.
20s. She was also in The Help.
Yes.
Yeah,
I love Emma Stone.
Mhm.
She does a lot of commercials for CoverGirl and all that, and I think she's a very pretty girl and everything, but I'm telling you, when she was in this movie, she looked a whole lot older than
Yeah,
him.
they're about the same age.
Wow. And Sally Field plays his aunt.
Yeah, I knew that.
Yeah. And I'm telling you, it's very good. I mean, I don't know if Electro actually existed in the comic books. I didn't see anything about that.
I don't know.
But they do reintroduce the Green Goblin. And it's a little different twist than Spider-Man, the very first Spider-Man, of how the
Okay.
Green Goblin came to be the Green Goblin. So, I mean, I don't know. It depends on if you like something new
Right.
or if you like to keep the old.
I know a lot of people like the Spider-Man.
Yeah.
Boy, it is really storming.
Yes. Looks like a hurricane
It looks
out
like
there.
a hurricane right out in front of us here.
It does.
Kind of scary.
It's almost like being in Florida without being in Florida. Because that's what happens. We'll get these storms, and then in like a couple hours, the sun comes out like it never existed.
Hmm. That's what it's been
It's
doing
crazy.
here too.
Yes. It's been
But it is
like
coming,
living in Florida.
coming down and super windy out there.
And, excuse me, keeping up with the music, still the top radio song is Stay With Me by Sam Smith. There we go. The name of the album is In the Lonely Hour. We don't have it here at our library, but it is in the system. Top country song is still Jason Aldean, Burning It Down. Nobody in the system seems to have it yet. Top pop, Stay With Me.
It's both, huh?
Yep. Rude got pushed out.
Pushed out.
It usually seems like whatever the top radio song is more than likely going to be the top pop. I mean, it just seems to go hand in hand with each other. And here we are, if it stays this whole week, for the 25th week of hip hop, top song, Still Fancy. And it's on the album The New Classic, and it is in our system. We don't have it at our library, but like I said, it's in the system, and it can be rented. And I don't check Hoopla. Well, I take that back. I did check Hoopla for Jason Aldean. It's not in Hoopla.
I think Sam Smith is on Hoopla, and I did see that
That could be.
Ariana Grande's new album is on Hoopla.
Really?
Uh-huh.
From what I've seen, when I looked at country, I don't see a lot of the more popular. I take that back. Luke Bryan's album,
It's on
when
there.
we did Play It Again, when that was the #1 song, that's on Hoopla. And that Florida Georgia Line, Dirt,
Yeah, I remember you saying
I
that
think
was
is on Hoopla. So, Hoopla's getting in there. It's starting to,
Yeah.
what do I want to say, come around
getting more music.
to having more stuff available. Yeah. Movies, still not there.
Yeah, the music is kind of their big thing. So
Is that what it is?
Yeah.
And audiobooks, I think, is
Yeah.
another big
I
thing.
think they have a lot of audiobooks.
Yeah.
Okay, well, that's our choices this week. Hopefully, we don't get blown away before next week. So we will see you back here for There's a Book in My Nook. Enjoy your books, movies, and music.